Welcome everybody. This is This Week in WordPress, and I am BJ, your host. Here from Divi, here from Elegant Themes, the makers of Divi, and I've got the best news tutorials and resources available that were published this week in WordPress in the description of this video. So let's get to it and go through it. I got a little bit distracted there. I'm sorry. My cat that I thought I had closed the door and did not and jumped into my lap. So there is that. I apologize. So that's the thing about live streams, right? Like I said, I'm BJ, and we are going through the best news tutorials and resources that were published this week. I'm glad that everybody was able to come out and join today. That is fantastic. I see some comments on YouTube already from Reed saying that I'm Divi-tastic, which I do appreciate. Reed, I am Divi-tastic. But for those of you who are new, we do go through the comments and just have a discussion about all of this stuff. I have links to all of the articles I'm going to be talking about in the comments of this video, so feel free to follow along and read whatever you need, load up in different kind of tabs, so that you'll be able to keep them up. And we've curated a bunch of stuff that we're not going to be able to get through all of. So check it out and let's go. Before we start, like I always want to make sure that everyone knows that here at Elegant Themes, we are accepting open blog submissions. So if you have an idea for an article that you think would be great on our blog, throw it at us. There's a link in the description here as the first link, and we would love to be able to showcase all of your awesome knowledge. So check that out. Now, the news this week is actually really cool. I woke up this morning and saw this in Slack, which is really funny. I saw that Slack has now acquired HipChat and Stride from Atlassian. They have also moved their blog from Medium to WordPress. So I was really impressed by this. I'm a little irked at it at the timing because I had just finished an article this week on Stride. So given that Atlassian is cutting Stride completely out of their repertoire, that article had to die too. So that was pretty stinky. But what this means though is that Slack is going to get so much better, because what Stride was if you've used Trello, it is the group chat like Slack that was made by the same people as Trello. You may have also used HipChat in the past. I know that there's kind of an ambivalence there about HipChat with some people, but Slack has gotten the technology from them now. Slack acquired all of it because there just wasn't a user base that was sustainable in Stride and HipChat anymore. So Slack has taken it and is going to get all of the cool features that were integrated with Slack or with Stride and Trello and HipChat and all of the stuff together, and with like Jira Cloud, and are being put into Slack itself. They're going to be put in there. So I'm really, really excited about this because, I mean, we use Trello at work. I use it for personal stuff. You guys probably use Trello for a lot of things, and there's a good chance that you probably also use Slack as well. So it's going to be a really fantastic thing that Slack is only going to get better. So they also moved, WP Tavern reported that I hadn't even noticed this morning, that Slack has moved their blog from Medium to WordPress. That was pretty neat. I've seen a lot of people doing this. I've talked about it a couple of times back in the early days of this show, back last fall, and talking about just Medium. And there was a pretty big mass exodus from Medium, maybe October-ish. I can't remember exactly when they made the change for all of their claps. But when they changed their clapping and supporting system, a lot of people left the platform, and this is just kind of the latest big name moving away from Medium into WordPress. And I mean, us using WordPress, that's kind of normal. We know that WordPress is great, but there's a lot there saying that you own your content, that you own how it's produced and presented, and it's becoming pretty normal. I like Medium as a platform. I'm always reading stuff like Hacker Noon and things like that on there. Free Code Camp has a great Medium blog, but to see that Slack has moved from Medium into WordPress is pretty good for to say, you know, that WordPress is going to be around for the long haul on this one. But it was interesting just to see that they had come up. I'm seeing a couple of comments in the YouTube comments here saying that what happened to the favicon and the theme options. In the newest update, the favicon upload is not there anymore in the theme options. BJ, can you tell us where it went? I believe that's in the theme customizer now. The theme customizer actually did it better than our Divi option did. If you go into appearance, customize, that will get you there. And I can't remember exactly which part it is, but I think it's just under the website headings or the general website settings in the very top of the customizer. What it did was the customizer did multiple sizes of the favicon when you loaded it up, and Divi only gave you one. So when the customizer was like that, we were looking at it, I was like, ours is just straight up redundant at this point now. So we took it out because if you used ours versus the one that was built in, you would actually get less functionality, and that is not something we ever want you guys to have happen. So so make sure you use the one in the theme customizer. I see in the Facebook comments that people are asking about the fully customizable headers. That is coming, Frank and Joe. We are working on an update for the dynamic content as well as a theme customizer. You can see that linked on our blog. I think it was back in late May that we did a preview of it. And so we have that coming. I don't know when. I don't think anyone knows when right now. We're working out the bugs on it, but it is on its way, and I'm crossing my fingers that it's soon, because that would be fantastic. But it is on its way, I promise you. So I was looking at the comments, sorry. And yeah, Pedro, the 512 by 512 icon, that was ours. And then the customizable one or the customizer one does better. You use it the exact same way that you would use that. Oh, no, excuse me. The 512 by 512, let me load one up here. I need to load up to make sure that I'm telling you right on this. In the Divi options, we do have a theme options. We do have a 512 by 512 logo. No, I think I can't find that. Anyway, I actually can't remember on that one, the 512 by 512, but I think that that is for site logos, which is different than the site icon. I know that can get confusing. Excuse me. Now the next thing that I wanted to go into on this was really exciting that you guys have wanted. We talked about this yesterday, or yesterday, man, it feels like yesterday, last Friday, is that we have the knowledge base and the help center from our live chat up and running. It's the second link under news. It is still being built. I mean, we're still still putting in content. I mean, it's always going to be updated, but it is live for you guys. It is intercom.help/elegant themes, and it's tied directly into our live chat support that we had talked about last week. So go in and check that out. You'll see a lot of the questions and articles that are up there. We have an entire article list of things that I know are going to be in there as they're coming up. So it is going to be absolutely gigantic eventually, or pretty soon, as we work through that. But it is up right now. We do have the knowledge base, we do have the help center up, and there's a link to it in the description of this video. I think that you guys will really like that. I see that Reed has a client who needs him, so have fun doing that, doing your job. So have fun. Um, and then the very last bit of news is just a very, very quick touch on it. I thought you guys might want to know that Font Awesome uh, released 372 new icons for us to use. I believe it is part of one of their paid plans, so you can't just go use everything. But 372 new icons to import into your sites is a lot of things to use. So they actually had some really cool ones. They announced it and put out, you know, the different packs that they were doing, and it's really, really cool. So check that out. It is the very last one. It's the third one under news this week. So I thought that was big news for me because I use Font Awesome all the time. I see people using it all the time. There's a lot of questions about how to import Font Awesome into your WordPress site, things like that. We have an article on that on the blog. And so getting 372 new icons is kind of insane. So they also added, I think, 6 new brand icons from the top of their list that people were asking for. So I can't remember what they were now, but they're great. Uncle Social says, imagine if Font Awesome were natively baked into Divi. One thing that you might want to look at, Uncle Social, is we have an icon font that we provide. It's on the blog that you can download, and I think it comes built into Divi. The Elegant Icons, I think is what it's called. It works similarly to how you would use Font Awesome stuff, but it's one that we made and provided, so it's not exactly the same. It's not exactly the same as Font Awesome, but oh my goodness! I see in the comments on YouTube, those of you who can't see it, Judy says that you're watching a lunar eclipse and it's happening right now. That you have go look at the blood moon. Don't look at me, Judy. Go look at the blood moon. That's awesome. Hi, JK. Hi, everybody. Hi to I missed the name. Frank, hi, and who was from Berlin? I saw Argante. Hi, nice to see you from Berlin. Arganta. I'm gonna mess that up. So anyway. That was the news for this week. There wasn't a lot, but what was there was huge. We are super excited about the live chat support and having that help center up. So check it out, use it, and let us know what exactly you want to know about that. So if you're just joining us, I've just finished up the news and we're going into the tutorial section of This Week in WordPress. There are 3 sections that we tend to get through, news, tutorials, and resources, and we end up usually going through most of the tutorials and a little bit into the resources, so I'm going to try to move along a little bit better than I usually do, but we all know that's not going to happen. So getting into the tutorials, I'm actually gonna, like I usually, I want to toot our own horn just a little bit, and there was an article that John Hughes posted a couple of days ago on the Elegant Themes blog here on how to check if your WordPress posts are ranking for the right keywords. This one is something that people don't think about a lot, that you're getting search traffic on something. You may have a really, really high performing post, and you look at it and see that it's not coming, they're not coming in from the keywords that you thought they're coming in on. And so being able to rank, you can then go back and look and see what you can do better on the old ones and how you can capitalize on those keywords that you didn't know that you were actually hitting up. So check this out. It's talking about Moz and SEMrush, and even in the some people can use the Google, what's it called? The Google Keywords Analyzer sometimes to check it out. There's so many different things you can use, but Moz and SEMrush are really where it's at. And I love Moz. Moz is kind of like my baby. I love it. I use it so much. And it's not my baby. I mean, it's not something I have anything to do with, like baby like that, but it was... but it's super good. So he goes through how to use those tools, and I promise you, if you have never used one of those and you are looking to figure out where your traffic is coming from or what you can really do better, SEMrush and Moz are exactly what you need. So the first link under tutorials will really help you out. I see Joe in Facebook says that we should show the fonts not only in the visual builder but the regular builder. Kind of hard to tell what they look like without seeing them. Joe, that won't happen. I hate to say it. And the reason being that we are moving away from the backend builder, and soon we're going to be integrating having a unified Divi experience in the front end and back end builder. So you'll be able to see them as you're working in the back end, but it will be a slightly different builder. But if you're using the wireframe mode, which works almost exactly like the back builder that you're talking about, the regular builder, you'll be able to see them when you're in a text module or anything using that to look at them. You'll see them regardless. So check that. You may not be happy that you're using the visual builder back at first, but I promise you once you get used to it, it will be just phenomenal because of just little fixes like that. Sorry, I'm seeing a couple of comments. And yes, there is, Uncle Social, the Divi Font Awesome plugin that you can use. And then video, yeah, the customizer needs more Divi love. That's something that we are looking at. Looking to see what we do. I am not sure if you guys just saw it, but my cat just jumped into my lap again. She's new. I just got this kitten. She is a kitten, so so it's she is definitely the kitteniest kitten I've had in a long time. So, but yeah, video, the customizer does need more love. We're trying to figure out exactly how to integrate those. There's because we have the Divi options and the customizer is getting more and more robust, we are wanting to move things so that you have it in one place. We don't want you to have to go over to a lot of different places. That would be absolutely delightful to have it all in the customizer. And yeah, the color of page background I want in there really badly myself. A fonts preview and the gradient and button backgrounds would be fantastic. Oh, there is the cat. See, kitty, get off of the... Oh, I gotta put her down and I can't. So, man, live streams, right? But yeah, I agree. The gradients and button background and stuff like that would be awesome. She just climbed up behind me. I'm being attacked by a kitten. So you know what? I'm just gonna let that ride. So you guys will occasionally see a kitten's ears like behind me here. So I do agree. The find and replace color site-wide in the customizer would be awesome. I would really like to see something like that too. Chris asked on YouTube, how can we send, request, or suggest ideas for new templates or themes in Divi? You have a few. Actually, let me do that right now. I have access to that, and we put them in. One thing that you can do, Chris, is go into the live chat and say it, but another one is actually give them to me here. When you have some like field reporter and things like that, those would be really, really interesting to have in there. And I'm going to actually put in field reporter right now. That's a really good idea because we have things like travel blogs and stuff like that. But we will... and for theme templates and stuff like that, oh no, now she's about to knock off my water, so that does not need to happen. Like I said, she's new. I've had her for about a month. She used to be my mom's, and I told her that that we would take her. So so we're still getting used to the idea of having such a tiny little kitten. And I know, Uncle Social, you do have an idea for a theme template, but like you said, Oxygen was gonna make it. It was one of theirs on their list for Japanese llama herders in the Middle East. So, I mean, maybe you might have to just go to Oxygen for that one. Excuse me. But yeah, so the other one that I wanted to talk about from the Elegant Themes blog this week is how to frame your navigation menu with section dividers. Jason did a live stream on this yesterday, and it was super interesting because one thing that I never even thought about using the dividers for was actually to make a custom header. I know that you guys are looking for that, and like framing you can make your menu. A lot of the complaints that we were getting on in the header and stuff is that they all look the same. And something that Jason figured out how to do was using the section dividers up top and using the VH and VW measurement units to keep everything the same around your menu, and it pretty much gives a lot of life to headers right now until we get the customizable headers. So I think that you guys will like that. I want to say I got some stuff. Toodle says too tall, too tool. Sorry. Please share more tutorials on the blog site. That we need some more of those going through. We're always working on stuff like that. If there are any kind of tutorials that you really need to do, let me know. Those kind of things. We're always looking for new ideas and tutorials and things like that. Sometimes it's it's a matter of manpower and woman power on getting everything out to make sure that we hit a publishing schedule. So so let us know exactly if there are any kinds of topics that you want to know about. We're always open ears to know what you guys want. And I see the file names on images for moving we're already in the juice theme. Oh, video. Okay, I have a question about that. Now, this is one that I haven't used like that because, yeah, you're absolutely right. We do have some of the same photography used in multiple layout packs and themes. When you import that, what I've had happen was generally when I upload one with the same name, it gets a -1 or a -2 beside it. Did that not happen in your case when you just imported a new layout? Because if not, that is a bug that I would really appreciate you submitting through either the forums or live chat, because that's something that really needs to get fixed. Because it really does not. That really does not need to happen. You are right. That's something I've not. Ooh, that's bad. So yeah, let them know about that if it in the forums, and submit a bug report on it. That's a big one. So one of the other things I'm not going to talk a whole lot about was the how to optimize WordPress after running a speed test, and this one's not actually something I want to talk a lot about because we've talked a bunch about it, but it's Yoast telling you what to do after you do it to make the best speed that you can to rank. And it really does just go through the right things. So, okay, so I misunderstood video. Sorry. Yeah, she is in attack mode, Frank. You see right here? Look at this. This cat is absolutely going nuts. I'm going to have to put her... I thought I'd lock the door, and apparently I did not. It must not have changed it. The theme developer has to change the file name. Okay, video. Yeah. And it should be able to do that automatically, which is what I would think should happen when you upload it. Maybe if nothing else, a feature request. I didn't know that did that. That is, I will mention that if you don't, because yeah, that's kind of a pain. And thanks to Tool, I appreciate it. My cat's pretty cool. So there's one that, again, I'm not going to talk about. I don't actually know why I put this in tutorials, but I did. The Go programming language for PHP developers. People were talking about people are talking all the time about Go. I have a lot of friends who use Golang who really like learning it. Man, Bella, you are all over today, and use Golang a lot, and they love it. And WP Shout has a good article on using it, and they link to an article that they took it from about what the Go programming language is and how it would work for PHP developers. I really like it. So I cannot, guys, give me a well. She's being nice right now. We'll see. Settle in, Bella. So the actual next tutorial that I wanted to talk about that was how to design the first page of an e-commerce site to boost sales. And WP Dev puts out such high quality content all the time that I can't not link to some of their stuff. And it's interesting how simple the stuff is that they talk about, like showing the value proposition. And don't tell people, like, don't tell people that it's awesome. It's but you need to be able to show them exactly what it does. Like, you don't need to tell somebody that it shaves your cat. You need to show somebody an animated GIF of this product shaving your cat. And it's stuff like that that you really need to do. Adding shortcuts in the header. I know that I always look there. A lot of people always do. I mean, you want a good header and a mega menu. Making sure you use high quality images, stuff like that. Where Flywheel actually did a really good article this week on, meant to include it, and I think I forgot to link it. Flywheel did a really good article this week on how they used images in a brand campaign that they did, where they went in and talked about the photo shoot and how they set it all up, and it was great. It's on getflywheel.com on their The Layout publication that they do. So I see that Joe says that the live support rocks. I'm really glad that you like that one. I'm glad that's going well. And the way it is, okay. Video Superhero says that they just need to fix theme on the elegant theme side. I got what you're saying. I'll let them know about that. And thank you. I'm trying to decide what length I need to have it right now. So I'm afraid that if I grow it out any more than this. Michael, it will start to look pretty shaggy. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, what I look like next week. And then the last one in the tutorials that I really wanted to touch on was surviving the beginning of building a WordPress business. And this is one where you guys are very well aware, I suppose is the best way to put it, of what happens when you're working freelance, when you're starting your own company, when you're just getting started in the WordPress sphere. There are going to be a lot of you guys who are in that right now, who are still learning what it's like to do this in WordPress, to really know where the plugins, what plugins are going to be the best, everything, and how you're going to pay your bills. They talk a lot in this one just about actually surviving it in terms of finances, with setting your rates, identifying your costs. That's one that got me, was not thinking about the costs that I would have to be fronting before I got reimbursed or actually paid for the work from clients. Keeping the financial records separate, having separate bank accounts, invoicing and accounting and stuff like this. Just getting through all of that at the beginning when you're starting out with your WordPress business is insane. So they have a fantastic breakdown of doing this. They go through the different accounting tools and stuff like that. I know that I've recommended, and other people in the comments have recommended Wave, waveapp.com as a great freelancing invoicing tool. They use Free Agent is one that they recommend in this article. You need something good like that. So check it out. That's just a great article. I love it when people go in and they write things that are pressure points and pain points that so many of us have to go through. That is more needed than how to fix a hosting error, which those are great. We need those, but I think that let me think how to put it. Working on content like this with the how to survive the early stages of building a WordPress business, those are everyday problems that don't get nearly enough love because they're harder to talk about. And while they're very universal problems, they're not something that people tend to search for a lot. So I'm glad to see articles like this being made. Colombian Hosting says use Wave and it's completely free and it's amazing. I use an online banking system as well. I use simple.com just for banking, things like that. It's great. I know there are others that are also fantastic. Which one do you use, Colombian? That's awesome. So for those of you who are just joining us, we're just talking about a lot of stuff with freelancing. We're talking about accounting software, the cat that's in my lap who keeps attacking because I didn't shut the door right, just everything. And we're moving into the third part of the show today, into the resources section. It is where this is the section where I share stuff that I just like sharing. That whenever I find stuff to curate here, it's stuff that I would probably just share on Twitter at any given time. So it's really a place for me to have good stuff that I think is going to make your lives a little bit better. Or your afternoon go a little bit quicker as you're reading through, stuff like that. I'll check out Asio. That's awesome. I'm going to open it up in a different tab right now so that I remember that. So the first one under the resources is just recently this came out. So it came to my attention that Microsoft Teams Microsoft Teams is free. Excuse me. We were talking about at the beginning of the show about team chats and group chats, and that Slack had acquired Stride and HipChat. Well, one of the reasons that they did that, and WP Tavern talks about this as well in the article above, that Microsoft made their team chat, their group chat, Microsoft Teams, free. That you can now use it for free, and it's really good. I did an overview of it on the blog, and I've got the link to it under resources here. And I was really, really impressed by what I saw in the Microsoft Teams software. It was something that I kind of went in hesitantly, that it's something that I don't use a lot of Microsoft products these days, and it's not because that they're not good, it's just because they don't fit into my workspace very well, and they're trying to fix that with Microsoft Teams, especially if you end up using OneDrive at all, or you end up using a lot of Office 365. They were just great with Microsoft Teams. And so what it is it's Slack. That's the thing. It's just Slack, but it's done with Microsoft, and it ties directly in with the other Office 365 stuff. And this one's free. You can have up to 300 members of your team on there. There's just a lot going for it. That while, yes, you can have unlimited numbers of members on Slack for free, you don't have access to your archives, which is a big deal for some people. And I mean, for a lot of people, that's a big deal. You need to be able to see what happened before. And Microsoft Teams may be fixing that. So they're pushing it pretty hard. And I want to make sure that you guys know that it's free now. It is really good, and if you do use a lot of Office 365, check it out, because it is a really, really good piece of software. And there is a reason that I said that I titled that article "A Group Chat That You Should Not Overlook," because it is good. It is very, very good. And which I'm saying this much because it surprised me that it was actually good. I like their Outlook. I like their Outlook email that they've done in their mail client. It's much better than it used to be. So this one also super good. So, speaking of team chat, if you scroll down to the third one, the third link under, under the resources section, there is a link called "Is Group Chat Making You Sweat?" And this one was published by the Basecamp people on their Signal versus Noise blog. And it's great, you guys. This is something, it's talking about group chats, it's talking about stuff like Slack, and talking about Microsoft Teams, because I don't know how many of you are using group chats all the time, but they are both fantastic and they're terrible. There are these two sides to group chats that have a lot of people ambivalent about them, and it's they bring up a lot of really good points in this article that everyone should consider if you use one or are looking into getting one, to manage your team, to manage between you and clients, heck, to run your podcast, to have a bunch of people, anything like that that you're using it for. And what reminds me down here is Uncle Social said, "Is Microsoft Team Chat replacing my new love for Discord, though?" And it's not. I actually really like Discord, probably the best out of any of them to use. But I can see how Microsoft Teams or Slack would be better for business, though I think Discord can do it pretty well. But I actually like the Discord software the best from using it over the last few weeks, like hardcore every day. But the reason I say that is, the reason I bring that up, in addition to you mentioning it, is that the group chats are good for hashing things out quickly. They say that it's good, whenever you need a red alert, like when something's going wrong, like yesterday during Jason's stream. I know some of you guys were watching Jason's stream yesterday when he was doing the navigation header. Before he went live, we had a message in Slack. We're like, okay, my camera's not showing up here. What do I do? Like when you have red alerts like that you need to troubleshoot, that's what these chats are here for. And they say that it's positive for having fun. That's why in most of my articles I've mentioned about team chats, I've mentioned the importance of emoji. That I have a Patreon for my podcast, and one of the benefits that I have for patrons is they get a Discord role that can upload their own emoji. Kitty, and because that's a big deal. Like having fun with these, Bella, having fun with these are really, really awesome. And that's what's good. Like you can have a good time. You build relationships, and one of the other things that they talk about is having a sense of belonging. That you really have a community. That I work remote, away from everybody else, and the closest person that I work to is either in Houston, Texas, or Columbus, Ohio. And I'm in Florence, Alabama. So I mean, there is a 10 to 12 hour drive in either direction, and it was so I feel like I belong to my team, though, despite being so removed from them. It is I feel like I'm so part of this team. Like we are all in this together. I mean, we have people in Belgium and in England, and they're just as much a part of my team as somebody who I'll be going into the office with every day. So the sense of belonging like that does get you away from that feeling of cabin fever, like they mentioned. But, and here's the main reason I wanted to bring this article up, was because of the negatives that they have, that I want to warn you guys about, in case you find yourself really obsessing over Slack or Discord or Teams or whatever you guys use, or Basecamp. I'm actually curious, do any of you guys use Basecamp? Because I love the software and can't get anybody I know to use it for any projects that I want to use it on. So I'm just curious if you guys use it. But I love it. Just can't use it. But one of the things that they talk about is having mental fatigue and exhaustion, where you're following this chat all day long. You need to make sure that you see everything. And by the end of the day, you just feel drained because you have been having constant conversation all day long while you're working. Not instead of, you're not stepping away to take a call, you're doing both at the same time. You have a feed running over here and you have your work on this monitor. So there's something about mental exhaustion and fatigue that you should be very, very conscious of. And then also the ASAP culture. This is one that I hope that your company doesn't do, and that I know that mine doesn't do. Elegant Themes is wonderful for this, is that our company, our supervisors understand that we are people. And so with a group chat, you're really able to, it's easy to get into, okay, they messaged me, my boss messaged me, I have to message them right back. because it's not email. They know you're in Slack all day long, so it's not like you can miss that email or put it off because it's asynchronous. Because this can be synchronous, you can get into people expecting you to do it immediately, to respond, to do your problem, to fix that problem, to do whatever, and that's not good all the time. Sometimes it can be. Sometimes that, like I said, those red alerts, that's going to be great. But making it a culture that you have to respond as quickly as you can to everything all the time because of this, again, is draining. So it's something that I think people would need to look out for. And like I said, my team is really good about this. My company is wonderful that they treat us like people and don't expect us to juggle everything all at once as quickly as we can. So if you're looking at using this for your WordPress business, think about that. And think about the clients. If they say something, do you jump immediately or do you wait a little bit? So think about that. And also, I see Reed saying that your old company used Basecamp and was being efficient with teamwork. And the old company used it. No one uses it anymore. It's like Trello and Slack all at once. And yeah, Reed, that's exactly what I feel like. If not enough people use it, it might as well just be a cluster of different tools that people are comfortable with. Exactly. It's fantastic for what it is, but I can't get anyone to use it. I actually feel that way about Trello too. I keep trying to do myself an editorial calendar on Trello. I've got some set up for elegant themes and side projects and just everything. And the problem on that one is that I don't have other people in there with me. So when I'm working, I don't think about moving my cards to different lists. And so that's a big issue for me, is I need those other people in these pieces of software, that they don't work real well for just me. Pen and paper work better when it's just me. And anyway, the last three that they were talking about really quickly on this resource was that you have a fear of missing out or not having a say, because if you don't see a chat, you don't get to chime in. That means that it's an implied consensus a lot of times, that, oh, but this is a quote from the article. Oh, just because we talked about it in the chat room, everyone who needs to know now knows. It's like, people don't see everything in those chat rooms. I wish they did. I wish I did. But just because it's there doesn't mean that everyone has weighed in on it. And the way that they put it, that you end up thinking, and you and your business, and be careful of this with your business, thinking a line at a time rather than a thought at a time. I know that Uncle Social had mentioned earlier that text team chat is 1,000,000 times more productive than conference calls, and that he used to work in India for a UK telecoms company, and after 10 years, he still gets stressed out from audio conference calls. And you're right, you're absolutely right. They're better and more productive than that. But you have to be aware that even when you have these things that are more productive, that if you are only looking at individual messages rather than the whole conversation or whole discourse that's being had, that the way that they put it in the article is that because chat is represented one line at a time, complete thoughts have to unfold one line at a time, so people can jump in anytime before you've had a chance to fully present yourself. Making a point can become really frustrating really quickly. So you need to be able to make sure that you communicate with people on it rather than just say things at one another, because there's a big difference in talking with someone and then talking at someone. I do my best to make this show a talking with someone, with you guys, by looking at the comments, by paying attention to what's going on, and so that's one of the things that I allow. Things like that. I have one of the things that I like about this. I see on Facebook. So that's what I like about this article. Y'all should really read it and check it out and read it in detail and share it with people who you use these team chats with. It really is a good resource. I really like that one. I see on Facebook that Joe asked if there are any other good SEO methods or plugins. All-in-one SEO is the other one that I've used, Joe. I've really only ever stuck with Yoast or all-in-one SEO, mainly because those are the two that have worked the best for me. I've moved pretty much into using Yoast exclusively because that's what we use at work. I use it at work. I know how it works. So on my private stuff, it's like I'm not having to learn a new tool. But all-in-one SEO is what I used for years, and it worked wonderfully. If anybody else has any good SEO methods or plugins like that, that would be great. And then just in terms of methods, I've mentioned it on here before, but I think it's always good to say, make sure that you're targeting things semantically and that you label your posts with words and keywords that people are actually searching for, not just keyword stuffing. That asking a question and showing people the answer in your headlines and even in your URL will get people to come to your site more. Make use of the excerpts that show up on the websites, on the search engines, because I much prefer, and Google does too, of seeing a very quick synopsis of that article than seeing half of the first paragraph, because a lot of times that stuff is fluff. So when you have stuff like that with excerpts and you have your keywords in there, that lets you target a little bit better, and it will rank you higher because you might not have that keyword in the first part of your paragraphs. Semantic web stuff is about my favorite thing about SEO right now. And there are some articles that if you go back into some of the older This Week in WordPress videos, that there are some older articles about that semantic web and things that you can look into with specifics on voice chat that they work well with, because people are asking Siri and asking Google and asking Alexa all sorts of different questions, and so your site needs to probably be able to answer that question, and then it will be ranked higher. Also, bullet points work really, really well if you're answering a question very specifically that requires a multi-step answer. That if you use a bulleted list, that gives you the opportunity to get one of those cards at the top of Google. Like if you say how to stop a cat from interrupting your live stream, and you say first, lock the door. Second, well, there may not be a second on that one, but shut the door, maybe. But things like that, where you'll have a list of what people look for as an answer for how questions and why, those are also very popular and very good rankings for SEO purposes. So that's me. Also, Simon Yates on YouTube. I know that you can't see this, Joe. So Simon Yates recommends Kate Toon's recipe for SEO success for anyone needing to up their SEO game. I'm going to paste this into the Facebook comments here so that you guys can see it instead of just listening to me. And so that's always a really... I don't know that one, but I'm going to, because I'm always looking for really good resources on stuff like that. So thank you, Simon. Now I see that there's been some comments here, and going back to the team chat stuff, Uncle Social is talking about Telegram Messenger that you can't get anyone to use. I think because it's a one-to-one generally. Yeah, I know you can use groups on it, but it's I know I looked into it. It's kind of like WhatsApp, like you were saying, and I stick with Slack and Discord stuff. When your team is a dispersed group of clients and volunteers, one spends more time trying to persuade them to use the tool you want and fighting the resistance than actually working together. Judy, that happened with my wife's company, and one of the things that that really worked for that one, for them using it, was not making the tool mandatory, but making resources that they had to have only accessible through that tool. The only way that their bosses would communicate certain things with them was through GChat when they were starting to use Google Apps, and the only way they shared certain things were through Google Drive, and that got the entire organization using Google Apps over time and got them used to it because they were required to use it, and it wasn't people asking like, hey, oh, they don't work together, they won't use them, I had to convince them. It's like, You simply can't do your job without this. I've had that happen with volunteers as well. It's like, if you're going to volunteer, you have to sign up and do this. You have to be able to use it. I mean, that's what I told them. And Uncle Social, yes, Slack and Discord do let you mark yourself AFK or out of office. You can do whatever you need with status updates. And then I see ICQ. It was exactly like ICQ. That's what I was going to say. It reminds me of ICQ in like 1998 when I used to put my status update to tell people where I was. Yes, it is exactly like that. And you can use emoji there too. So I love it. But thank you for that, Simon. For the book. I'm sorry you can't. It's okay. You can't post the link. We got the title. We all know how to Google, I think. So further down in the resources, there was something that I came across today. Not today. Earlier this week. I don't know why I said today. I copied it today. That earlier this week I saw that I've been excited to talk to you guys about, because this is something I think that will be great for your WordPress businesses. Something that and anybody really starting especially, but if you're needing a reboot, a revamp, just to get some more pizzazz on it, WooCommerce did it's not a use case, it's a case study. That's the word I'm looking for. It's case study on brand archetypes, on using brand archetypes to craft unique digital experiences. And they follow a company called Hurdle, and it's a design agency. And what they did was look at the idea of brand archetypes. And what this is that every business, every brand tries to embrace some sort of personality. We all like interacting with companies in certain ways. I know that the way that we interact with Wendy's on Twitter is different than the way that you guys interact with Elegant Themes or whatever. And I mean, we have our own archetype here of they have things like magician, sage, ruler, innocent, everyman, caregiver, lover, jester, outlaw, explorer, creator. And it's like, I feel like we're in the creator archetype, where like Ben and Jerry's is the jester, things like that, where that kind of gives you a direction of where to take your business. And for me, whenever I started freelancing, and I decided that I needed to have a voice to let people know what kind of work I did and what kind of person they were going to be dealing with, I went with the jester myself. You can actually go to bjkeaton.com and see the copy on there. I mean, I quote Hamilton. I'm really tongue-in-cheek, and that works for somebody, and it doesn't work for other people. But because I know what I'm trying to brand myself as, I can then focus in on people it does work for. So we've done that at Elegant Themes. We know who our product is for, so we know, to talk to you guys. So it's something to look at and something to think about. And they have it's a long article. So there's no way I could get through everything about it, but I wanted to talk about those archetypes in particular so that you guys started to think about where you fall kind of on that color wheel of archetypes that they have. Are you the everyman? Are you the sage? Are you the hero? Like Nike does theirs with hero, like they're champions, that kind of stuff. You can really get a lot of ideas on where to go with marketing and branding and how to reach out to clients with what tone, if you just think about what your brand is and what you can offer in terms of personality. So absolutely check that out, I think. I see that Uncle Social says that his ICQ number in the chat here. I can't get into mine anymore. My old one was 313-57643, but I have no idea what my password is, so I can't get in anymore. So makes me sad. But I've tried many times, but I know that's my account. You can add me if you want, but we'll never see the message. Anyway, you guys, that is all the time that I have this week for This Week in WordPress. I appreciate you dealing with the cat attacks that I had and all of the conversation that you guys provided. The discussion in the comments is great. I will look into what we can do on for the tutorials tool. Let me know if you have any ideas about that. If you have any ideas for theme layout packs, things like that, let me know. The live chat help is up. Remember that we have that knowledge base already up. It's linked at the beginning of this. And if you need anything at all, I'm able to answer anything that you need. You can email me at bj@elegantthemes.com. And sorry, Reed, I was looking when you said show us your cat. She's moved all the way over there and fallen asleep in the armchair I have in my office, and that's what I was looking for when you said I was looking a few minutes ago. I was looking for that. I was looking for her if I could reach her, and I cannot. So, but that's what I was staring at a few minutes ago. But yeah, I will show you guys the kitty next time, and maybe she'll climb on here. She actually opened up some stuff on my laptop the other day. I was afraid she had ruined work. She didn't, thank goodness. While I was gone. Anyway, you guys, have a fantastic weekend. Thank you for joining me, and be sure to check out the next live stream that we have. That's on Monday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. I have no idea where you are in the world, but that's how you can figure it out, is 6 a.m. Eastern Time. That is Mac doing the new Divi feature live stream, and then we'll also have a use case live stream on Tuesdays or Thursdays with Jason or Donietta doing something with Divi that I promise that you will learn something from, because I learn something from them every time I watch them. Like I said, have a great weekend, have a great week, and thanks for joining me, you guys. Y'all are absolutely fantastic human beings, and I love you, and I will see you next Friday. Bye, you guys.